Welcome to the Fi Investors Podcast, helping you achieve financial independence through real estate investing, one episode at a time. We talk about personal finance, mindset, and real estate investing. Whether you're a rookie or looking to scale your portfolio, we're here to provide you with the tactics and actionable steps to achieve your goals. Here are your hosts, Diego Corzo and Ward Mahoney.
What is up, Ward? How are you? Welcome to another Fi Investors FFF Financial Freedom Fridays.
What's up, Diego? Good to be back as always.
Yes, and today is a very special day because when we're recording this on a Wednesday, it is your birthday.
Yes, it is.
How does it feel being 26 years old? Super young.
Can't believe it. It feels old.
So, perspective is everything. This goes for everybody. Perspective is everything. Man, at 26 years old. That when I was 26, dude, I was like, yeah, I mean, it was like 7 years ago, but still.
You were killing it. You were killing it. What do you mean?
I was starting. That was like, I was getting started. I had 6 properties, 6 doors, 5 doors. I mean, you're at 7 doors, right?
4 properties, 7 doors.
Yes. And remember what I told you is like, once, like as you get started and everything, I mean, you bought your first property 2 years ago. Right?
2, 3 years or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And you might say, oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough or whatever. But dude, 7 doors at 26 and you just turned 26. So you had 7 doors at 25. You're doing really good. Really
appreciate
good.
it.
Yes.
Gracias.
Yes. And I know that this weekend we're going to be having the Fi Investors Retreat in Austin, Texas.
That's right.
Yes. We have 25 people coming, 25 investors from the mastermind.
Yep.
And one of the things that's really cool is that we're going to be celebrating your birthday, Roberto's birthday. There's people coming and we're going to be celebrating their anniversary. So it's really cool. It's like a family, right? At the end of the day, Fi Investors. So for anybody that is wanting to join a community, a real estate family of financial independent investors looking to achieve a great life, definitely reach out to us. You can reach out to me at Real Diego Corzo on Instagram. And where can they reach to you?
At W Mahoney REI.
Yes, we are here to help answer any questions. And one of the things that we want to talk about today is, regarding the Fi Investors Retreat, really quick, before we get into our topic. I think that is really important. I believe that going to like just attending Zoom calls and everything is great for people that want to take action, and learn and everything. But a lot of it is on the power of meeting the people face to face, having those conversations. And of course, we're going to have speakers. We're going to have amazing speakers, but we're all going to be in a mansion and learning from the speakers. But what's even better is those conversations that happen during lunch, in between breaks, during the hot seat sessions, because that's when you get to connect with other people,
right? And
see where they might need help, but also just understand them at a deeper level on what they're doing, why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the other thing that's really cool about these events is people come together and like you said, coming off of Zoom, you might find a new partner, a new business partner, a new hard money partner.
Yes.
Maybe someone has a deal that they can't take down by themselves and you two just happen to be in the same room. So there's a lot of cool things that come out of this. I know back in the rat race days, I attended 2 of those.
Yes.
And both of them completely, on a fundamental level, changed my life.
Yes. No, dude, I will never forget. I'll never forget when I saw you at that, when I met you at that event.
Yeah.
You were just coming in to help out and just for the weekend. I was like, who the heck is this kid that I haven't met yet? And now you're here. But at this event, we're going to be having, so we have 7 different speakers. We have Diana Oseguera going to be talking about property management, short-term rentals, mid-term rentals, how she's been able to just scale her portfolio and buying her first home, right? A couple of years ago. My brother is going to be speaking, Gonzalo Corzo, amazing wholesaler in Jacksonville. We have Matt King here from Austin, Texas. He's the CEO of GoBundance. He also manages David Osborne's portfolio of like $180 million. and his family office and everything.
Private equity firm.
Exactly. And then we have Paul Coronels talking about infinite banking, right? That's something that a lot of people wanted to ask on how do you use your wealth to become the bank?
Yep.
Then that way you don't have to go to the bank. And one of them is through infinite banking. So he's going to be sharing that strategy of how we can use life insurance as a method to have infinite banking. Then we have David Tupin going to be talking about multifamily. We have Mike Ayala. He's in GoBundance as well, and he's going to be talking about buying businesses, his journey on entrepreneurship, and also relationships. So that's going to be really cool. And
David Laver.
And David Lovler, of course, cannot forget him. He's actually speaking on Thursday. He's going to be giving a market update because he is a lender. Market update on 2023, 2024, and also how he's investing here with 3D printing homes in the Austin area. So it's going to be a great event. I'm super excited.
I can't wait, man.
Yes. So now, as we are talking on the subject of Financial Freedom Fridays, one of the things that is really important, and one of the things that we've been telling the people in the mastermind, our mentees, is that now as rates have been going a little bit higher, it is still a good time to buy deals, right? If the numbers make sense, you have to make sure that you underwrite the numbers and everything, right. Especially as on investor loans right now, there are like 7%, 8%, or 9% at times. It's very important now to analyze your portfolio, and instead of potentially buying more houses, see where you can maximize the cash flow of the houses that you already have.
Definitely.
Right. And I'm still buying homes and everything, so I'm still investing actively. It's more on how can we maximize. And I know that you've analyzed your triplex, for example, as a way of midterm rental, right? But one of the things that want the audience to know is that there's multiple ways. Whenever you buy an investment property right now, it's a great way to see what are to analyze the numbers in different ways. Long-term rental, midterm rental, short-term rental, and co-living. Those are 4. I don't know if I may have missed one, but at the end of the day...
Sounds about right.
Yes, but at the end of the day is you can analyze the properties on those 4. Of course, the least amount of time that you're going to take is long-term rental if you're managing yourself. Midterm rental and short-term rentals are going to require a little bit more hands-on work, unless you have a property manager as well. And then co-living, that can be a little bit more hands-on. I'll let you talk a little bit about that, and we'll go and describe and go a little bit more in detail on those.
Yeah, the biggest thing I'd say is really when you look at those different strategies, the biggest thing is the more money you make, the less the level of uncertainty goes up, right? So with short-term rental, yes, you can make a lot more, but also knowing from rental that I have short-term rental down in Myrtle Beach, our September, we have 2 weeks in September that still isn't booked. So that income isn't guaranteed. Regarding midterm rentals, those are turning into my new favorite just because of that mix between it's a little bit heavier operations, but you can systematize that out, and you can also put your property manager who may have done long terms kind of in that role to do MTRs if they're willing to work with you. And also you just get a lot more bang for your buck. And I see a really nice inflection point's the wrong term, but I see a really nice I guess I'll use it, a really nice inflection point with midterm rental where you have to put just a little bit more effort in, and you'll see what feels like a lot more cash flow. I'm able to double all my rents whenever I go midterm rentals. Whereas with short-term rentals, I'm constantly trying to figure out, we have another turnover, someone's coming in on the weekend, someone's coming in on Tuesday, someone locked themselves out. And with MTRs, you really don't deal with that as much, but you still get the increased or oversized returns than if you're going with long-term.
Yes. Now, one of the things to consider when you're doing short-term and midterm, right, it's also that you have a little bit more expenses,
right? Because
you have the utilities in your name, and then of course you have to furnish the property. Can you give us the example of your triplex? Because I know you bought that one to house hack, right? So you bought that one with low money down, and now as you had one of your tenants move out that was there long-term, now you were facing that decision that maybe a lot of people are facing now. It's like, hey, what do I do? So if I want to maximize my cash flow. So tell me what you did.
Yeah, absolutely. So I had triplex, long-term rents and all the units, and I wanted to explore what a midterm rental would look like. Turns out midterm rental is more than doable. I would need to furnish the unit. Right now, the unit's getting $1,700 a month. It's a 2-1. It's a large 2-1. If I were to MTR it, I would be getting $2,500 to $2,700 a month. And my cost to furnish it, because I wouldn't say it's a smaller 2-bedroom if we look at square footage. It was going to cost me estimated about $6,500. So within 6 months, I could get my cash back, which to me is a no-brainer.
Yeah. Now, what if whenever you were looking at the numbers, then you were putting in what about the utilities?
Yeah. So the utilities I actually already had in my name.
Okay.
So that actually doesn't change it. Unit 1 and Unit 2 are in the tenant's name, and Unit 3 is actually already in my name.
Your name. Okay, cool. So if you were going to do that, it would be like what, like $200 on utilities or what?
No, it's more than that. So this property is located in the Northeast. So I don't know why, but my utilities are really expensive. They come out to like $350 every month.
Okay.
Really expensive. $350 to $450. $450 in the winter, $350 in the summer months.
Okay. So let's say $350, or let's call it $400.
Yeah.
Right. For average easy. You said you can gross $2,700, or you said $25?
I know I could play someone like tomorrow, or I'd say, in 4 to 5 day period at 25. And I know that if I'm given a week to 10 days, I can get someone at like 2750.
Okay. So let's do 2,600.
Cool.
If we ran the numbers.
Yeah.
So at 2,600, then you have, how much would your property management company going to charge?
So so that actually we're still negotiating. They actually charge $75 a door. And they said that for the first few months they would keep it at $75 a door because I have a really good relationship with them, and they'll work with me. And with extra calls, there will be an extra fee.
Okay.
So that's how we structured it.
Okay. Got it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So then we'll call it 26. Let's say 75 will be like 100. Yep. Right. So now we're 26, we're 25 plus that 400 or minus that 400. Now we're at 2,100.
Yep.
And then plus the money that you would have used to, like, now we're talking about a couple of like $300 or $400 in the difference from a long term to short term, depending on how much money you want to keep to pay off that furniture.
Yep. 100%. And the other thing I want to say too, that is just a fantastic hack. If you're contemplating, if you were saying, hey, I don't know if the demand is there in my market to do a midterm rental. I struggled with that. And what I did was I sat on it for like 2 or 3 weeks trying to think like, oh, what do I do here? But instead what I should have done and what I ended up doing was I went to furnishfinders.com, made an account, paid the $80, went to Fiverr, took my photos of my property, all the interior photos, paid someone $5 a photo to virtually stage it, upload it on Furnish Finder. And then I just started getting all these inquiries. And the first 3 days were really, really slow. So my plan was like day 2 or 3, if I could get the demand, was to buy the furniture. I didn't start getting demand or requests to book like till day 5 or 6.
Okay.
So I would, if you're thinking about MTR and you're just want to explore it to see if it's possible, do that first. I cannot emphasize that enough. And know that you probably will not get requests in the first 2 days. It'll take a week. I don't know, maybe it's the algorithm or whatever, but give it time because it does work.
Okay. So have enough patience on that.
Yeah, but list it and get it up.
Yeah. Okay. So because to be able to do that the way that you did it with like just a test, right? I always tell people just test it out, see what you can do. Because I know, for example, when I bought my house hack, right, which if we can call it house hack or co-living, renting out by the rooms, what I did is I went on Craigslist to see how much the rooms were going to be, like how much rooms were in the area. And then after that, I created a random post. Like I took pictures of the house already. It was empty. Yeah. But I put that as a Craigslist post and I said, this is how much it would be. And per room. And then after that, I mentioned that it was gonna be like people can move in. This will be like after I close on the home.
Yeah.
Right. So this was me testing out the demand and everything. And you can do that pre-buying a home, but if it's something that you already have or that you're under contract, start to test it out.
100%.
Now, of course, one thing that's super important, you cannot sign a lease to a property that you don't own yet. So don't do that. What I did is I closed on a Friday and I had all the tenants move in on Saturday and they signed the lease on Saturday. I didn't because I was already showing the properties.
What a turnover. That's insane.
Yeah.
You closed on Friday, tenants in on Saturday.
Yes.
So was it a new build then? There was
No, it was a resale. It was a resale.
Wow.
But I had already taken the pictures. I already posted it on Craigslist.
Damn.
I just couldn't sign a lease with my name on it as the landlord until I owned the property. So
if anyone is wondering how to do co-living or house hacking right, do it that way. Follow those exact steps in that order, and you're going to save a lot of money.
yes, for sure. So, all right. So we covered, so for me on the rooms on co-living, I went on Craigslist. You can look up on Facebook groups.
Marketplace.
Yes, exactly. Facebook Marketplace, see what's renting, see what the average is, and also the quality of the house and the rooms, right? You don't want to just get a super old property in an area where everything that's renting, everything that's on the market is brand new and updated, and all of a sudden you're like, why aren't I getting X amount of leads or whatever, right? So that's co-living. Remember that on that one, you can furnish the the common areas. You don't technically need to furnish the living areas on house hacking or co-living. The tenants can bring their stuff.
Yeah.
Midterm, you do have to furnish the rooms and everything. Right. And the same thing with co-living. I'm sorry, with short term.
Yeah.
Now we've also recently had one mentee that bought a long-term property. Like, she bought a property and she put in the furniture and everything, and then she's actually leasing it out long-term with furniture. Yeah. So that's another thing too.
Yeah. I haven't even really heard of that. But I like that. That's new.
Mm-hmm. Now, regarding short-term, what are the steps that you would recommend for somebody that wants to analyze a property on the short term? Yeah.
So short-term rentals is all about being in the data. Right. So it has to do with the accuracy of your data sets and the steps that you're taking to make sure that you're actually pulling accurate data, you're removing the outliers, and you're only looking at a data set that has your comps. So what I always do is I go to Price Labs, and in the top left, I believe, I've done it a bunch, you're going to look at view dashboards.
Price Labs. Okay.
Yep. Pricelabs.com. Go to your dashboards, and then from there, you're going to type in somewhere on the screen your zip code, and then you're going to buy a market dashboard. It's $9.99 a month, and you're going to buy a market dashboard for whatever area you're looking at. And then what we do is we basically go into that dashboard when it's ready. We filter out by the bedroom. So if we have a 3-bedroom, we'll look at a filters for everything that is 2 to 4 bedrooms, right? And then we'll lock it in at how many bathrooms we have in the house. And then we also want to look, if it's an Airbnb, how close to the beach it is. And then what we'll do is we'll scroll down to the map that's down on that page off the market dashboard, and we'll actually lasso all the properties that's within a certain vicinity of our property. And we'll exclude properties right on the ocean, exclude condos, etc. And then we can get a pretty good idea of what we're going to be seeing for monthly revenue. That's one way. The next way is AirDNA. I found that AirDNA is it had like a 15% margin of error, and it overinflated our numbers.
Okay.
And Price Labs was a lot more accurate, within like 5%.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's better than, would you recommend then to do both just in case, or would it be better to do Price Labs?
I would definitely do both.
Okay.
I would definitely do both, but I would lean on Price Labs.
Okay. Okay. Now, do you think, based on your experience then, what are because I know that you also had the opportunity to do the MTRs, but you chose not to.
Yep.
What do you think will be that criteria to get you to decide if you want to do MTR or just do long-term rental? And share the example of what happened with you. Yeah.
So what example are you specifically referring to?
The one that you tested it out because you had your tenant move out, but then you had a tenant that the market rent was actually higher than what you were expecting, right?
Yeah, totally. So in order for me, so I'll answer the first question, then I'll go back to that. So in order for me to move forward with midterm rental on the property, the biggest thing that I need to see is just some kind of a team in place. I know I already have a good team, but the biggest thing for me is the projects. I should say it like this: my active income. There's a lot more opportunity if I spend 10 more hours working on my active income than if I were to spend the 10 hours to figure out my MTR. So the MTR opportunity will always be there. And I actually have already purchased the furniture. So I already have that sunk cost. But when it comes time to really optimize that portfolio and I have more time, then I'll go ahead and do so.
Okay.
So really it's going to come down to where I'm living, the team I have, and really how much work I want to put into it. Because ideally I'd rather just pay someone 10 grand to go in and just deal with it. So yeah. And then second question. So basically what happened to me was I had a tenant move out. I left the unit vacant for almost 45 days. And I was going back and forth. I was going in this limbo. I was like, do I furnish it? Do I not furnish it? What do I do? Ended up buying the furniture, did my test. I actually ended up running out of time while I was back home to get it all done. And then what I did, talking to my property manager, we were able to get a tenant in for $1,750 a month, which I thought I was going to get like $1,500. In which case we could say I was going to get $2,500. But if I was going to get $1,750 versus $2,500, I just said it's not worth the extra time.
Yeah, because of the bills, because of the utilities and stuff too.
Yeah, exactly.
That you will have to pay.
The utilities were already in my name.
Oh,
so the
that's
utilities
right.
will come out regardless. But that's basically like a cash flow unit for me. So I was like, it's an extra $700, not an extra $700. It's probably not worth. It's probably not worth the headache.
Yeah. Well, especially because you did have to put in the money to furnish it and everything.
Which I already put in.
Yes. so
don't do that. That's another pro tip.
Lesson.
If you're trying to furnish a room or a place and you're using Amazon to do so, do not. I just took it. I said, hey, it's better if I go in and buy it and I'll return it. I literally could not return anything. They called me back. They pushed me to customer service rep, and I literally got nowhere. So do not have that as a plan B. Just return everything if you're kind of still in limbo.
Yeah.
If you're all in, order it. If you're not, do not order it. Or if you do, go through a route that you can return it. Don't do it through Amazon.
Yeah.
I got screwed.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, because at that point you have to see what your opportunity cost is. Stuff like even if you're deciding, hey, I'm going to buy it, right, is analyzing how long it's going to be until you get your money back and that you're going to commit to doing that midterm rental for like 2 to 3 years minimum so that you see that return.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. And so we've discussed the 4 different ways to analyze a portfolio, right? The long-term rental, which of course, if it's long-term, everybody knows you can go on Zillow, Redfin, like check out the comps in your area. You can even do Craigslist. If you're working with a realtor, then definitely ask your investor-friendly realtor to send you comps on the rents. That's important. That will be for long-term. Then you have midterm rentals, and you have short-term rentals and co-living, which is basically renting out the rooms from that perspective. If you're renting out the rooms, also maybe there's a way that you can close off like one of the extra living rooms if there's extra space and add another bedroom. So there's ways for you to maximize. That's when the pad splits model comes in, and you can buy a home and analyze it through the pad split model, which is just maximizing the bedrooms, right?
Yep.
So there's various strategies that one can do. Now it's just a matter of analyzing the numbers and seeing which one works for you at that time.
100%.
Yes. So, guys, we have discussed all of this information. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram. You can send an email to info@thefiinvestors.com. And if you guys are wanting to learn more about the mastermind, again, reach out. Or if you guys want to check out the email course that we have created just for you, it is free 99. You can go to keys2fi.com to learn about the 6 keys to achieving financial independence. And please give us a rating or review in Spotify and iTunes. And share this with a friend.
Cool. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
awesome word, and happy birthday.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you for listening to the Fi Investors Podcast. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. And share this with a fellow real estate investor who you think would find value in what we do. Until next time.